This video is sponsored by nobody. I'm technically paying to do this video. Body tracking got its roots like 100 years ago, with the start of rotoscoping by Max Fleischer in 1915. But nowadays, it's something more like this, and somehow also this. What this all essentially is outputting movement into data for use. Whether it be for entertainment or even sports science and health, it's a technology that's ever-evolving to be utilized in such interesting ways, both in industry and for the market. Personally, I've delved into a bit of research about the topic previously through my research on X-Sen suits, but since then, I've been put into a group working on a proof of concept game, which would be using webcam-based body, hand, and head tracking. To get into the strengths and weaknesses of this project, I need to actually explain it. To put it briefly, it's a first-person horror game where leaning your body makes your character walk back and forth. Tilting your head slightly in every direction moves your game camera accordingly, and specific gestures trigger certain actions. A strength would be that we're doing something that has yet to be explored successfully as a core aspect of gameplay. A direct competitor would be a game called Rise of Nightmares. It was a game on the Xbox 360 that solely relied on the Kinect and had a similar concept for the controls, with the added bonus of fighting your opponents.
The scariest thing about this game is that it costs you $50 for you to not be scared.
To say that they did badly is an understatement. It seemed that the general consensus from reviews was that the camera-based controls felt like something tacked onto a pre-existing horror game. Reflecting on this, the team has taken the approach that the controls are something ingrained into the gameplay itself. When given the devil's advocate question of what makes this so different that we don't just use a controller, to that I answer, there are some good things to take from Rise of Nightmares. One of the few things that was praised in the game was the moment when the player had to keep still to up the suspense. It's one of the few key functions for survival in our gameplay. Actions like these that are forced to be done physically rather than just pressing a button, in essence, gives the player an immersive experience, much like VR, without the VR gear. In saying that, a problem that VR has is it looks dumb. There's no nice way about it. But at least when you have a VR headset, you can't see yourself actually do stuff. Take away the headset and
a game that makes you look like a fucking nutcase to anybody entering the room.
Exaggerated movement was necessary then, but gone were the days of iToy camera specs of 320 by 240 pixels, which is laughable to today's standard HD 1080p webcams. We're looking to make the gestures as natural as possible. To help break through any level of embarrassment, raising your hand makes your character raise their lamp, a call me gesture brings out your walkie-talkie, so on and so forth. Another weakness is more of a necessary evil at this point in time, but the need for calibration and having the motion capture fall out of sync could very well happen. Those precious moments where movement and sound detection are so important in our project could also be an issue, because of possibly staggered motion capture coming in live, software issues, and even hardware problems. Bear in mind that these are problems that would be faced in execution should we be hypothetically chosen. One thing that was noticed about the technology that could deliver what we actually wanted was that they tended to be a third-party inclusion. Some of the readily available tech would also be a few years old without any support or any follow-through from the creators. The integration into the project itself was something that needed troubleshooting and deeper research, especially if we were to go in the direction of machine learning with the likes of TensorFlow or PyTorch, both of which are very valid ways of approaching the technical aspect since they're both open source. To get a good quality grasp and execution of these body tracked based controls requires time. Time we don't have at the moment, nor the specialized manpower that I know we have access to as a cohort.
Mom, is my game relevant? Huh?
Body tracking games in particular have yet to fully stand the test of time beyond dance games. The few games that have ventured into the body tracking realm have more or less fallen to the sidelines of video game history as gimmicks. That being said, I think it's best to refer to YouTuber Scott the Was, who put it very eloquently.
I always felt like the concept had a lot of potential, though. I still feel like the concept has a lot of potential. I feel like too many people are unwilling to accept new and innovative ways of controlling video games. Too many people just assume that, yep, this is it. This is how all video games should be controlled till the end of time. I mean, yeah, that's the definitive way to play most modern games, but being unwilling to change the input method for a lot of games means we won't get as many innovative experiences. Video games can be so much more than what the standard controller allows for, and if we don't accept stuff like this, then we won't get crazy experiences that we couldn't get with standard controllers.
The interest in horror games jumped with the shift of the Let's Play and streaming culture. Horror games that enhance or break out of the norms and expectations of a standard first-person horror game is something that would be welcome. By limiting our project to be done through webcam tracking allows for a much wider market than VR-based horror games, offering a new experience to those that frankly can't afford it. Relevancy is a hard thing to judge when we're reintroducing something that has been done, but by bringing it in with a fresher perspective and with newer and better integration of technology, we may be able to open more possibilities in a tidal wave movement that is the game industry. But until then, we will always have